your life would always be the same. I don't want you to grow. I wish the time could stand still. I want you to come to the playground and play. Your eyes should never know. Your body never feel. Why must you go? Why must you know it's real? I wish that your eyes would never ever change. I wish that your life would always be the same. I don't want you to grow. I wish the time could stand still. I want you to come to the playground and play. I don't want you to grow. No one ever will. I wish that we could stay where we are. Never ever leave me to go out to the world. Hold on to my hand. Be my little girl. Be my little girl. So that was on STV tonight.
Never know what's gonna go, and let you see that it doesn't matter. You wanna find what's on her mind. Why can't you see that she doesn't care? Just take her eyes, don't run her eyes. Pull up your thoughts, take it away. Don't need to worry, there ain't no hurry. Just roll, baby, roll, roll, baby, roll. You never know what's gonna go, and then you see that it really doesn't matter. You wanna find what's on her mind. Why can't you see that she's gonna be there? Just take your eyes, don't run your eyes. Go up your thoughts, and take it away. Don't worry, there ain't no hurry. Oh, baby, oh, baby, you want to dance with 50 more?
Welcome to In Focus. The Saskatchewan Party is on a high. It came close to knocking off the NDP in the last provincial election, and since then it's attracted new members. We met one of them at the party's annual convention on the weekend in Saskatoon. And as Jolyn Shane tells us, this member received a lot of attention there.
More than 200 people sign into the Saskatchewan Party's annual convention. Many are farmers, some business people. But Brendan Cross seems to be the only treaty Indian.
Welcome to the convention.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Thanks. I was curious about the party. It's caught my interest that they have been so successful in the last election, and I'd like to see what their plans and strategy for the future is.
The 23-year-old broadcasting student was invited, and he has a lot of questions. First, for MLA Bill Boyd.
I was going to ask Bill what the sentiments are towards some of the treaty controversies that are happening in the East and in the West.
Any obligations in terms of treaties have to be followed, have to be lived up to.
How much of an element of First Nations people are involved in the party?
Oh, difficult to say. The First Nations, I would say, represent a small part of the Saskatchewan Party.
Being from a First Nations background, I feel that it would be important to know to know what's happening politically in the province right now.
Well, I hope you can feel like you get involved in everything.
Cross is here to find out about policy and what the Saskatchewan Party really believes. He's heard they want Indians living off reserve to pay PST.
My name is Brendan Cross.
I'm Bonnie with us.
Nice to meet you, Bonnie.
Cross to stand up just for 1 second. He doesn't know I'm going to do this. This young man here, I want to tell you, is the newest member, and CBC elected him to put a microphone on him. So when you're talking to him today, you're going to be talking to the world. So I just want to thank Brendan for doing this. Our theme for this year's convention is Celebrate 99. And boy, don't we have a lot to celebrate.
Now let's talk a little bit about what we actually accomplished and what really happened here. We won more votes than the NDP. We actually took the popular vote. The facts are that we took 28% of the urban vote.
For hours, delegates hear about what the party did right and what it did wrong.
The NDP, frankly, were very, very good at getting the vote out on a lot of reserves. Meadow Lake, I know we lost by a couple hundred votes, and they had 4 reserves, and there was about 500 votes that came out and voted against it.
I'm a new member from Fairview. My name is Brendan Cross. Would the party be prepared to actively seek and court successful First Nations individuals?
We want to have a good cross-section of people involved in the party, and obviously that includes in a big way our First Nations people.
Before long, Brendan Cross is the most popular guy in the room.
I just want to say congratulations. We're happy to hear from somebody from the native side.
Thank you.
Were you adopted? Or?
Yeah, I was adopted when I was 6 months old.
We have the same scenario in our family.
I feel comfortable here. I am impressed by the open nature of most of the people here and the enthusiasm that they show.
The party is not making any policies today, but it is talking about things like social policy and how to lure more urban voters. In this room, one speaker says, get rid of welfare and replace it with vouchers for food and other basics. Brendan Cross isn't shy about expressing his own views, and he says he has a better idea.
I would encourage the Saskatchewan Party to concentrate their energies and attentions to educational programs and work-related programs and try and lure the people from their environments that have been deficient into environments that can instill dignity and self-esteem.
He won't say exactly what that means or where he stands on Aboriginal issues. Cross certainly stands out in this crowd. A visiting Reform Party member has noticed and tries to recruit him.
But we'd like to call on your help and the help of others for our by-election. Why don't you stop by, talk to the candidate, talk to some of the people there, get some literature.
That's on 22nd?
That's right, yeah. Love to have you drop by.
Sure.
Brendan doesn't tell the recruiter he has no interest in reform. But for the Saskatchewan Party, it's a different story. He plans to become more involved.
I wouldn't want to use the term watchdog. I would much rather use the term spectator.
He also says the party has not given enough thought to some of its policies on Indian people.
I would never want to romanticize the Saskatchewan Party as being something that it is not, because I think I speak for most people that we don't know yet fully what the Saskatchewan Party will represent in the next election.
But whatever that is, Brendan Cross says after this convention, he wants to have a say.
A Regina man is working to form a native political party in our province. Tim Filizak has the details.
The song is believed to bring on the sunshine. Harold Henderson hopes the traditional native song will also make the PST go away. Henderson was part of a group of people who gathered in front of the legislature today to protest the province's decision to charge First Nations people PST on off-reserve purchases.
I care for my children and those yet unborn. When our leaders start taking that stance, like the old people that sit in the spirit world, there will be a difference.
I think we shouldn't be paying it because the government is breaking its treaties with the native people across Canada by making the natives here pay PST.
Bird and Henderson feel they are being betrayed by the Romano government. They fear many natives living on fixed incomes will not have enough money now to make ends meet.
If it doesn't stop here, you'll be paying for your education pretty soon. There'll be nothing left for those little ones.
And the date today is April 3rd.
The PST issue was one of the reasons Brendan Cross has decided to form his own political party. The one-time Saskatchewan Party member says even though there are 2 First Nations people in the legislature, no one is representing Aboriginal needs, and he hopes to be the first.
The main goal is to give First Nations people, or the First Nations culture, a vehicle by which they can be involved in the legislative process and a platform on which First Nations voice can be heard.
Cross says the top priority for the First Nations Party is to abolish the PST, and not just for Aboriginals. He hopes to collect 2,500 signatures, the amount required to have his party registered by the middle of the month. Tim Filizak, Global News from the Saskatchewan Legislature.
He's forming a political party for First Nations people. C. Pascolato has the story.
Brendan Cross has come home to launch his crusade.
I would like to see a day when First Nations people have a vehicle by which they could exert their political will.
You can come to the classroom and be sort of grateful. Come.
Okay.
He's here to meet with band leaders in a grade 8 class, but already things are going wrong.
And which grades are these?
These are 3, 4, and 5.
Okay.
The 6, 7, and 8 are gone all day. And,
Cross tries to make the best of an awkward moment.
Good afternoon, guys. I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Brendan Cross, and I'm a SOTA band member. I live in Regina, and I'm currently organizing the First Nations Party of Saskatchewan. Does anyone here, can anyone here tell me what a political party is?
like a birthday party?
Sort of, but it's a bit different.
The 24-year-old broadcasting graduate wants to do what no Saskatchewan Indian has done before, create a political party for First Nations people. A party he hopes will become a force in provincial politics. Some believe he doesn't have a chance.
Have you ever heard someone say that First Nations people don't vote?
No.
No?
I never.
Okay, because when I was your age, that's what I was told. I was told that First Nations people don't like to vote. First Nations people will never have a party of their own, and if they do, the First Nations people will never win because they don't vote. But right now, nothing has yet been determined.
Later outside, a potential supporter. The principal wants to know more.
Yeah, in the next couple of years, a strategy will develop, and things will hopefully come together.
Well, good luck. Good luck.
Well, thank you.
Cross needs more than luck. Aboriginal people don't care much for provincial politics. It's estimated only 3% vote in elections. Cross thinks he knows why.
I believe that a lot of the First Nations population has been brought up with a sense of hopelessness, and they're resigned to the fact that the other people will make all the decisions.
Cross is hitting the road, determined to change that. He's convinced politicians would care more about treaties, taxation, and poverty if Aboriginal people could sway the vote.
The First Nations Party would make it a priority to represent the forgotten people here in Saskatchewan who have no voice. It would be important to know, to know what's happening politically in the province right now.
Cross is no stranger to politics. Last year, he joined the Sask Party.
My name is Brendan Cross.
Hi, I'm Bonnie Wittes.
Nice to meet you, Bonnie.
At its annual convention, he was the most popular man in the room.
I just want to say congratulations. We're happy to hear from somebody from the native side.
Thank you. I feel comfortable here. I am impressed by the open nature of most of the people here and the enthusiasm that they showed.
But the honeymoon didn't last. As the lone Aboriginal, he says his voice was drowned out.
There was dialogue going on there. When the budget came down, Elwyn Hermanson was one of the first people to crow to the media that finally the NDP is doing something right, and they've adopted the Saskatchewan Party's policy of making First Nations people pay the PST, and that just shows that the Saskatchewan Party is so great. I realized at that moment that any hopes that I had to change that policy or to change the image of the Saskatchewan Party here in the province were dashed.
So I'm here with Brendan Cross, organizer.
Now, Cross is building his own party. He's talking to anyone who will listen.
What is the message you'd like to portray, and what are you planning on to do to get it out to the people?
Well, our main message in this tour and this banquet is we are going to win in North Battleford in the next election.
Okay, excellent. Well, thank you very much.
Cross needs to appear confident. It costs money to run a political campaign, and the First Nations Party needs cash. Tonight is his first fundraising dinner.
We have reserved spots for 50, and I hope to have every spot filled. Yeah, so come on in and sit wherever you want.
1 hour into the event, only a couple of people have shown up. Again, Cross tries to make the best of an awkward situation.
Yes. We're planning banquets in Prince Albert next week and Fort Capel the week after that.
I can see all the good that could come from a party like this.
Leonard Iron likes what he hears.
I think this is an idea its time has come. Not only are they, slowly eroding away our traditional treaty rights for hunting, trapping, fishing, but now I feel they're aggressively attacking us with this PST issue, and we need a voice in their government to speak for us.
More time passes, it becomes clear the fundraiser is a bust.
This was unexpected, but at the same time I'm still quite optimistic.
Cross is fighting more than political apathy. He's fighting the image people have of him. In 1996, he pleaded guilty to exposing himself to 2 young girls in Regina. He was sentenced to 2.5 years probation and got treatment. He says he regrets what he did and doesn't think his criminal record is an issue.
Just because some of us have past problems, that doesn't mean that we're worthless. That doesn't mean that we have to give up on life and let our dreams, go down the toilet.
But 3 years later, Cross was again making news. He got kicked out of the Canadian Bible College in Regina for getting his girlfriend pregnant. Cross agreed to live by the college's rules, which include no sex outside marriage. He ended up marrying his girlfriend and does not regret what he did.
Why did you do it? Why did you break those rules?
Well, I met a girl that I fell in love with, and we wanted to become a family. Would you like to join us?
But is it too much baggage for a man trying desperately to win public favor?
Your name is Alan. Alan?
Cross isn't worried.
This isn't a passing fad. This isn't just a 1-month idea. We're going to keep at this, and the support will come.
So far, Cross says he's convinced about 1,000 people to join. He needs 2,500 members to make the First Nations Party an official party. Steve Pasqualato, CBC News, North Battleford.
Well, meanwhile, the Federation of Saskatchewan Indian Nations is taking a wait-and-see approach to Brendan Cross and his new party. The FSIN is meeting in Saskatoon this week. Indian leaders have always pushed for self-government, so they aren't too keen on the idea of getting involved in mainstream politics.
We talked about it with some of our elders, and they exercised some caution. They basically told us to exercise caution when dealing with the issue, because again, we're Indigenous peoples, we're treaty people, we are Cree, we are Soda, we're Dene, and we have treaties. That whole issue of even voting in federal provincial politics, we have to resolve ourselves.
As for Brendan Cross, he hopes to have enough members to officially register his party by the end of summer.
More than 2,500 names, the requirement to form a political party. In this case, a Saskatchewan First, the provincial First Nations Party.
During a leadership convention to be held.
Getting to today hasn't been easy.
I will admit that I was under the impression that I could get 2,500 signatures over the weekend at a powwow.
One of the lessons Cross says he's learned trying to form the party.
Because when I was your age, that's what I was told. I was told the First Nations people don't like to vote. First Nations people will never have a party of their own. And if they do, the First Nations people will never win because they don't vote.
Cross didn't give up despite the odds. He has a vision to give Aboriginal people in Saskatchewan a voice in provincial politics. He says he sees poverty, unemployment, social problems.
These are situations and experiences that break my heart. The First Nations culture is working overtime to foster care, love, and nurturing.
He wants to help, but he doesn't have any answers. The party hasn't yet developed any policy positions. This analyst says that could be a problem.
Its success will be tied not only to whether or not it can represent that segment, but to whether it has a coherent ideology and whether it can appeal broadly, because in a democracy, of course, this is a numbers game.
How much of an element of First Nations people are involved in the party?
Brendan Cross is no stranger to politics. He once belonged to the Saskatchewan Party, but says it doesn't represent what he believes in. And just recently, he confronted another right-wing party, Canadian Alliance leader Stockwell Day.
Would the Canadian Alliance be willing to re-examine their Aboriginal policy?
Cross says his party's ideology will develop slowly as more people join.
It is my hope that the First Nations Party of Saskatchewan can change the way in which Saskatchewan is run as a province. An application here for you.
But first, the chief electoral officer has to verify the names on the petition before the First Nations Party becomes official. Jolynn Shane, CBC News, Regina.
In Saskatchewan today, the leader of the Canadian Alliance was speaking in Moose Jaw when a Native activist challenged him on stage.
We'd be happy to chat with you.
A few months
ago. Sorry,
Brendan Cross was carrying a page out of the Canadian Alliance policy book. It was the section on Aboriginal affairs.
I'd like to say that the Canadian Alliance policy is not.
Thanks very much.
Cross is the leader of the First Nations Party of Saskatchewan. It's a provincial party, but eventually it wants to run federal candidates. Cross says the Alliance platform doesn't do enough for Native people. Day said a Canadian Alliance government would respect existing treaty rights.
In the absence of any serious contenders for party leader or any firm commitment from outspoken critics of my own leadership, I have decided to continue from where I left off. I am committed to leading the First Nations Party of Saskatchewan into the next general election.
The Aboriginal community faces a number of issues, but today one group met to take aim at finding a solution. The general meeting and election of the Aboriginal Peoples Council of Regina took place this afternoon. The council is an advocacy group for urban Aboriginals and the conditions the population faces. Part of the group's mandate is to encourage members of the community to get involved with proactive measures.
It's just awareness. In any community, it's always good to be aware of what's happening, and whether you're directly involved in it or not.
It's very key, especially in terms of the local issues, because locally there are different issues that affect the communities, from one community to another.
The Aboriginal Peoples Council of Regina started in 2001.